Hello everyone, welcome back to the Indiana Kayak Fishing Journal. Today is Thursday, November the 10th. I am out for a very quick after work trip. With the time change this week, I have very little time after work to get out, but I'm still going to make a run at it. I'm out on a reservoir chasing crappies. I only have 2 hours until dark, so my time is short. We'll see how it goes. There's a big one. First decent one.
13?
No, first decent one. It's probably 11, 12 maybe. It's a nice one.
So far. 13 was the biggest.
Yeah. Yeah, this fish is probably 12.
One I got yesterday and today, both were right up against the tree. The two people.
Oh, that's a giant. Oh, yeah. There's a big one. Oh, yeah. Bigger than your 13, I guarantee you that. Wow, that is a huge one. All right. Oh, he's unhooked. That would figure. Yeah, nice one. All right, good looking fish there. 13 3/4 inch crappie. Real nice one. That sun's really pretty with that. Look at that good fish. Awesome. All right guys, we're going to take a quick break from the action. I'm just going to go through what I have in my tackle box for crappie fishing. I try to keep this as simple as humanly possible. So let me open this thing up here. All right, so first what you can see is I've got a lot of bobbers over here. They're kind of a smaller size, slip float style, most of them. And then I do have some fixed bobbers over here. I use these very sparingly. I tend to stick with more of the slip floats when I'm crappie fishing because you can adjust your depth so easy with those. Then on the left side here, I have a bunch of these little Hustler crappie tubes in a bunch of different colors. I just kind of rotate through some of my favorites. I really like these silver and white ones. Interestingly enough, these ones with like the solid color heads never seem to last as well or as long as these ones with like the metal flake in them. So I try to get the ones with the metal flake if possible, but sometimes they just don't have the colors I want. So I end up buying these ones anyways. They still do really well, but these ones just seem to last on the hooks a lot longer. So I've got, those I really like, and then I've got these red with silver tails that I always really like. These always work really well. And then, like you can see, just a bunch of different other random colors. I really like this green sometimes. Sometimes that seems really good. And then the orange down here, sometimes when like the water's kind of dirty, works really well. Something they can see a little bit better. So these little Hustler crappie tubes are awesome. Now underneath here, what I've got is I pre-tie leaders and I put them on this little leader board. So you can see these are all already tied and ready to go. Basically, you just have to take these off of here. And then you've got another leader ready to go that you can just snap on real easily, throw a different colored body on there, and get back to fishing. So I have a bunch of those leaders always pre-tied before I go. And then another thing I've been experimenting with are some of these neon moon eye jigs from VMC, and then pairing those with some of these Bobby Garland crappie baits. These basically are just little 2-inch shad imitation baits, and they've got just one little single tail. those seem to work really well too. So, I mean, anything in like that 2-inch range is going to get you bit by some of these crappies. Really, beyond that, what I've got is just a small box that I use for white bass. If we run into a lot of white bass, sometimes I'll throw on just a twister tail and a jig head to see if I can get into any white bass. I always just kind of keep that in the box with it, because a lot of times if I'm fishing for crappies, I'll accidentally run into white bass. And then this bag actually has all the stuff that I need to re-rig like multiple times over, just in case I start breaking off. So I can go through this bag real quick and show you guys what's in here. I've got snap swivels. You don't need real expensive ones or real heavy duty ones for crappie fishing. Most of the time these cheaper Danielson ones will get you by. Don't really need anything there. I've got extra jig heads. These Arky jig heads are pretty cheap and they work really well. These are what I tie all my leaders up with. I've got some extra bobber stops. I don't know if you'll be able to see them in there. They're pretty small, but they basically are just little plastic pieces with 3 holes in them. That's what I like for bobber stops instead of the ones that you tie onto your line. These ones I just always seem to have better luck with, and then you can reuse them, where the ones that you tie onto your line, once you use them, they're done and gone. So I kind of like these plastic ones. They work really well. We got some extra split shot in here. Depending on the weight of your jig head and your jig itself, you may need to add split shot to balance out your bobber. Basically, you want your bobber to be weighted enough that the slightest pull will pull it underwater. That way the fish feels as little resistance as possible when they're taking your jig. So you just add split shot until that bobber is just kind of barely floating, so that if they try to take it, it goes right down and they never really feel it as much. That way they hold on a little longer, gives you a little longer to try to set the hook on them. So I always have some of those. Got more jig heads, and then last but not least are it's like 100 pack of these little beads. I use these just around my slip bobber to keep things from binding up and make sure everything's working good. Basically, that's what I've got in my tackle box. You know, I try to keep it simple. I've got a lot of redundant stuff so that I can retie and get back to fishing as quickly as possible once I do break off, because you're going to break off crappie fishing. That's just the name of the game. And then I carry a lot of slip bobbers with me, and then extra line to tie leaders just in case. So that's kind of the rundown of the tackle. Let's get back into the fishing action.
That 13 that I just got, bobber laid down. You can't look for it.
There's a nice one. He's not real big, but he's nice. Boy, he just swallowed that thing. Golly. Yeah, he's not real big. He's 10 or 11 maybe. Maybe not even that. 11. It's in a weird spot. I can't reach it. There you go. Sorry about that, brother. You can close your mouth now. Yeah, he's not real big. Yeah, he's all right. Take as many of them as gonna bite tonight. The DNR guy sent me the most recent survey they did of this lake, 2018. Oh, there's a good one. There's a good one. Yeah, not bad. Probably an 11. Better than average. Yeah, maybe a 10. This little guy. Nice little fish. But it was kind of interesting. The most numerous fish by number were white crappies.
Really?
Yes. 21% of their survey was white crappies.
You know, like white bass maybe.
There was like, they only caught 1 white bass, so I don't know, you know, what their method is.
What you do, you just email the guy and ask him?
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I just emailed him and asked him, and
He used to have a contact, but he retired.
who was that?
Jed Pearson.
Yep, Jed. Yeah, the new guy is Tyler DeLauder. He's kind of a younger guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's really good. He usually gets back to me like within a day or two. If I ever have any questions or anything, I just ask him, and he's more than happy to.
I'd be curious to read it.
Another good one. Oh, wee. It's got growths all over him. Look at that. Can you see these big growths?
Oh, really?
Yeah, look. I mean, look at that. Do you see that in the tail?
Oh, yeah.
It's like covered in big growths.
Jesus, don't touch it.
Yeah, he ain't gonna hurt me. Ah, he's not gonna hurt. That's a nice fish though.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
too bad he's like covered in weird spots. That is weird. I've never seen one that looked like that, had that many weird growths on it like that.
That 13 here, I had 4 over there.
Yeah, I bet I got about 20. You know, I could probably go back and look at the footage and see for sure, but I bet I got about 20.
So I ended up with 17 or 16 or 17.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not like the best night ever, but it's also not a complete disaster.
Oh yeah, the carp are all over in here.
What's the depth look like right there?
24.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the video today. Quick outing. Only had about 2 hours on the water to fish, and it's already almost all the way dark. The wind finally laid down and it got nice and calm, but when the wind laid down, the fish stopped biting, so that's kind of a bummer. Still had a pretty productive evening. I bet I caught about 20 fish. Got some decent ones, and then quite a few small ones to go with them. Still a fun night. I got to spend some good time with Phil, one of my friends, out here on the water, which that's always nice too. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you to everybody who likes, comments, subscribes, shares these videos. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one.